The other day I was listening to the radio and the radio announcer asked, if you could have access to anywhere, where would you go? And I thought, Fort Knox. All of those bars of gold and rose that we've seen photographs of, are they really there? Because a lot of people suspect that they're not. A couple years ago, Germany asked to audit their gold, just audit it, and we said no. What? Yes, we told them no. They didn't make a big deal out of it. If I were them, I think I'd have some questions for us, but maybe they're just being strategic about it, just like, hey, no worries, that's cool. Regardless, we wouldn't even let them look at it. They had 674 tons of gold stored with the United States. There's got to be more to the story there. And what is the deal with gold? In 1971, you could trade 35 of these and get one of these. This was kind of an anchor, if you will. It just keeps them from printing out of control as many dollars as they desire. To give you some idea, today, as this is around 1,300 of these for one of these. We were set at $35 per ounce, and it was at that time that Richard Nixon thought, I don't like this system. He couldn't just print as many of these as he wanted to because he needed to have a gold reserve, and that hampered his ambitions. So he got rid of gold, and instead he replaced it with Fairy Wand currency, which is what we have today, also known as fiat currency. And they can just print as much of it as they like. Except that what Richard Nixon discovered was that a lot of countries didn't want Fairy Wand currency. They liked the gold-backed currency a lot better. He, being a smart man, worked something out with the Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger. They worked out the petrodollar. They made a deal with oil-producing nations that in exchange for weapons and military protectionism, they would price their oil in dollars. It's almost as though we own the oil, because if a country has to have dollars in order to purchase oil, it's a very good position for us to be in. It was a brilliant plan, and they started that in 1973, and that's what we've been on since then. Recently, there's been a lot of talk about the collapse of the petrodollar. We no longer have this desirable dollar. HuffPost recently had an article about this, and they phrased it so wag the dog. It said, non-dollar trading is killing the petrodollar. Yeah, well, or it could be that we're just going in ridiculous amounts of debt and nobody wants the dollar anymore. In the last week, Switzerland decided to stop manipulating their currency, and so now people are actually paying Switzerland to keep their money in Swiss francs, to keep their money in Swiss bank accounts. They have a negative interest rate because of their responsible policies. And that's all it would have taken here, except that we don't have responsible policies here. We missed a huge opportunity here as a nation because we were the global reserve currency, which means that we were basically the international language of currencies. And when countries traded with each other, they traded in dollars. So we're going back to this, is really what it boils down to. And we could change this. We could just get responsible. We could become a responsible nation. But what we have to do is start electing people who can be trusted with other people's money. And voters in general don't look for that. Usually voters look for people who are good-looking, well-spoken, not necessarily the Mother Teresas of the world who can be trusted with other people's money, which, let's face it, that is the main thing that we ought to be looking for in elected officials. So thanks for watching.